Hey, what's happening out there? This is Halftime Prep Talk. As always, HTPT is brought to you by Fannin Automotive Family. And we have a new sponsor, Matt Sparks, Chick-fil-A. Check out our Chick-fil-A ticker. And for the first time in how many episodes? 27 episodes, Matt Sparks can eat the food.
Yeah, this is really big news. You know, Chick-fil-A's got great food, got a great staff. But finally, no pizza in the green room today. Finally, I get to eat some chicken. You know, every time that we go for meetings or whatever, we even go to a place that serves mostly dairy foods. So it's shocking that you actually got some chicken.
So the lactose intolerance is not a factor when Chick-fil-A is in the house.
Yeah, my birthday's coming up. I wouldn't put it past you to give me an ice cream maker for my birthday, knowing you.
Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to get you anything now.
Well.
All right, you're watching on dailyindependent.com, the Independence Facebook page, or YouTube. Glad to have you. To all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day this Sunday. And for all those that have mothers, don't forget that this Sunday is Mother's Day.
Got any big Mother's Day plans?
Yeah, taking the mom and the wife to Olive Garden.
Well, I'm taking my mother to Churchill Downs for a little Mother's Day brunch.
You just one-upped me again.
Yeah, she loves to bet on the ponies.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yes.
Speaking of Churchill Downs, how about the Derby? Were you surprised at American Pharaoh? I know he was the favorite, but were you still surprised? Because I know you had, Dortmund as your pick.
Not really. I think American Pharaoh was a favorite for a good reason. Ran a great race. Victor Espinosa, the jockey, put him in a great spot. Really was great down the stretch. I think he has an excellent shot to win the Triple Crown, I think.
I'd love to see it. It'd be the first one since '78, correct?
Yeah, that's one of the most difficult things, I think, in sports to achieve. I think he has a great shot at the Preakness, but, to win the Triple Crown, you have to win 3 races in a matter of about a month. Mm-hmm. And most horses don't run that many races in that short of time. I don't know if you remember the last year's Belmont Stakes. California Chrome had a shot to win the Triple Crown. Mm-hmm. His owner, Steve Colburn,
None too happy.
None too happy about it. Maybe not the greatest time to make this point, but when you have race for Triple Crown, maybe you need to have all these horses run in all 3 races to make it a little more even. A lot of times you see horses don't run the first 2 legs and run the Belmont, and they're way more fresher than the horses trying to compete for the Triple Crown. So I think you had the point there.
Moving on to HTPT's Out of Left Field. Region Tennis was this week. Keep an eye on the Independent for coverage of that. And also Area 7 track is coming up this weekend at Mason County. So a couple seasons winding down. Of course, softball and baseball nearing the postseason as well. A few various signings. It seems like there have been just signings aplenty in the area.
We got a lot of talent. We got a lot of talent in the region.
A lot of talent in the region. A lot of kids signing to go to college and play various sports. So keep an eye on the Independent Sports section for all the news. Moving on to baseball and softball. Let's play 2. Our game balls, Matt. I'm going to go with Megan Hensley. We could almost name this segment after her.
I think we should.
She had back-to-back great games against Raceland and Lewis County. Of course, she pitched against Raceland. Megan Murphy pitched against Lewis. But Megan Hensley at the plate went deep in both games. She has 12 home runs on the season now. Mackenzie Vanover has the single-season school record at Ashland with 15 home runs. And the state record for a season is owned by Amber Riddle from Rowan County. She had 19 just a few years ago, actually. But Hensley is not on pace for 19, I don't believe, but she is on pace for 15. She could maybe get the school record by the end of the year, but she's hitting home runs at a crazy pace right now.
I'm going to go with Jackson Keaton, Greenwood County Baseball. Tuesday night, his single won it in walk-off fashion in the 9th inning. Greenwood County has been playing a lot of these close, winning on their last at-bat. Mm-hmm. I personally witnessed a few this season. I told Greenwood County coach Greg Logan that I don't get paid for overtime, so I might have to stop coming to Greenwood County. But it's exciting atmosphere over there right now. I think they have played in 9 one-run games this season, won 6 of them. So, and 2 of those defeats were on their spring break trip in Georgia, where they played some of the top competitions from all over the country. So they are really showing some really great work in extra innings.
Covering the bases, brought to you by Distinctive Specialties. First base, Ashland and Boyd County, the rivals. They came together for a really nice moment on Tuesday night. Came together in a time of tragedy. One of Ashland's players, Casey Clark, actually lost his grandfather, and he found out during the game. The word spread quickly. Boyd County's dugout, and the teams actually decided to meet together and huddle together in the middle of the field. It was a really nice, special moment that they shared. It was nice to see the rivalry set aside for that purpose. And there are a lot of reactions too on Twitter. I know Pete Fraley, Boyd County's athletic director, was on there and just expressing his thoughts about it, and he said his prayers were with Casey Clark. So it was all really nice to see Ashland and Boyd County engage in that kind of.
Yeah, it was great to see. There's no bigger rival than Boyd County and Ashland, and to see them come together in the wake of the tragedy. It's kind of cliche, but your teammates are kind of like a little bit like your family, and it's great to have that support system around him. I'm sure in the coming weeks when he comes back. So it was really great to see.
Boyd County softball coach Geoff Stewart joining us here in a little bit. Switching gears to softball for second base. Russell, under new coach Dave Wheeler, who was an assistant to Geoff Stewart at Boyd County the last few seasons. The Lady Devils are on a roll. They've got 20 wins this year. They've won 9 of their last 11. It's their first 20-win year since 2012. I know that's not too long ago, but still, for this team with not a whole lot of expectations going in, been kind of a nice surprise for Russell fans, haven't they?
Yeah, maybe we didn't expect 20 wins from this team right away. New coach, lost their best player, Mallory Powell, from last few seasons. But this team still had a lot of experience coming back. Sarah Heineman is very talented. Emma Eisen, who's a big fan of Conway Twitty, apparently. Oh, wow. Her walk-up music to the plate, it was really great. But but the great thing is all these players are sophomores and juniors.
Right.
Alexis Maynard too.
Right. Cassie Fultz and Haven Lane, both pitchers.
Yeah, Cassie Fultz, she's a junior, but most of these girls are like sophomores, and so they bring experience to the club this year, and they're still going to be around for a couple more years. So that makes Russell maybe even much better in years to come.
I think Heineman is up to 5 or 6 home runs. She's really been a deep threat this year. So on to third base. Boyd County baseball, we just talked about them a little bit, but on the field, they have won 14 of their last 15 games. They've actually gone 15 straight games without a loss. One of those was a tie due to darkness. It was possibly the best streak that they've had since 2001. KHSA doesn't go farther back than 2002. 2001 was, obviously, people know, their state championship year. So they've got a showdown with Greenup County coming up on Monday at Greenup at 6 o'clock. That's going to be a heck of a game.
Well, to me, it seemed like the only thing that could beat Boyd County here since they returned from spring break is time. They just ran out of time against was it Ryle, I think, 4-4. Boyd County has to have the most potent lineup, I think, in the region. They've averaged 11 runs a game during this streak. And but you're right, that showdown with Greenup on Monday is going to be big. Both those teams play in a tournament, like a round-robin type tournament.
This weekend.
In Lexington. So pitching will be extra important in that game because, they probably had to use quite a few pitchers over the weekend. So pitching in that game is going to be really important.
Yeah, and there's always strategy that filters in there. They don't want to show too much of what they got. How baseball is. They don't want to show too much of what they got because these teams could meet again in the region.
Yeah, Greg Logan was telling me Tuesday night when I was there. The plan was not to use so many pitchers in that game Tuesday night, but that's just the way it came about. So he's trying to figure out exactly how to use his pitchers this week because that Boyd County game looms large, and maybe it could be a preview of the region final depending on the draw.
Boyd County Lady Lions softball coach Geoff Stewart coming up. Boyd County softball coach Geoff Stewart joins us on Halftime Prep Talk. Coach Stewart, thanks for coming down.
Appreciate you. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
14 years now at Boyd County, in the middle of a really good season right now. You guys started out 14-1 this year, the best since you took over in 2002 at Boyd County. Now you're 21-3. How do you sum up the season so far?
I think we just have a good mixture of seasoned veterans along with some very talented younger athletes, and they came in early with a goal to win a district and region championship, and we've worked hard, at practice. We work hard in games, and just try to make ourselves better. And we got a bunch of girls who play hard, work hard, and they get along well with each other.
Going back a little bit, you were at Lawrence County for 6 years as a head coach,
Yes.
and 2 previous years before that you were an assistant coach there.
Right.
So, a long background in softball, and you're going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame here coming up in June. What does that honor mean to you?
It means a lot. It's a lot of hard work put in, not only for me, but all the assistants I've had over the years and all the great athletes I've had. But it's quite the honor. I'm very humbled to be a part of that elite group. Like I said, 20 years is a long time to put in, and I'm nowhere near finished. But I'm just very humbled. And it's good for our program, and it's good for my school, too. So it means a lot.
When did that passion for softball first come about for you?
I've been playing baseball / softball since like any other person when they were little league, and just that's the one sport I stuck with at Boyd County High School was baseball. Played 4 years there, and then once I got into college at Morehead State, I started. That was about 19. We played the intramurals there at Morehead State University, and I just met with some friends from out Grayson, and I was with that group for 20 years. I played. The major name for our program was Grayson Merchants. We were very successful. I had a bunch of guys off the 1984 state baseball championship, so we had a really good softball
From
team.
East Carter?
Yes, from East Carter. And that's where I live now. That's where I hung out when I was younger, out there in Grayson with a few of my friends. But yeah, I've been playing men's slow pitch since 19. I retired from that when I was 44, so 25 years playing men's softball, and it's just carried over.
Yeah. Looking back at you mentioned Boyd County baseball. You played 4 years there. Who was the coach?
We had Mickey Rice and Chick Thomas were my coaches.
Pretty successful seasons there.
Yeah, we were okay.
Uh-huh.
We didn't really win any regional championships when I was there, but we were pretty successful.
Yeah. Well, so far this year, you guys have been very successful, as we kind of touched on. But it kind of, for you guys, starts in that pitching circle, doesn't it? Laura Thompson and Hannah Irvin have been excellent for you. And how about, can you make a case for them as possibly the best 1-2 punch in the region?
I have no doubt that they're not the best 1-2 punch in this region, and we've got some good pitchers in this region. But my gosh, Laura, I've got some stats here if you need them, but Laura is probably 11-3, and she's been beaten by Ashland twice, and a team down in Myrtle Beach, would win our region. They're better than us. They're better than Ashland. They were a really nice team, and it's not like her under average is below 1. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And Hannah is 10-0. I mean, what can you ask out of your number 2 pitcher to go in? We know which games to pitch who, and Hannah's worked as hard as any pitcher in this region over the last 4 years. She works a lot on her own and with pitching coaches and all, and she deserves every accolade she can get. But she's kind of stuck behind Laura because Laura's the big power pitcher, and she gets a little more press than Hannah does. But like I said a minute ago, Hannah's 10-0, and her earned run average is around 2, a little over 2, 2.5, that's still pretty good. But
Absolutely.
I've got you're talking about going to miss 2 fine young ladies. When they graduate this year, we're going to definitely miss them.
And, as good as you guys have been pitching-wise, sometimes the bats, they take care of it where the pitching doesn't even have to be that great. And I know recently the bats have been struggling just a little bit.
Yes, it has.
But the pitching's carried you through that, and the defense has been pretty solid.
Yes, I can't say enough about my defense. We've had some illnesses and some injuries and some things, but every time we put somebody out and move people around, they step up and get the job done defensively. And the hitting has struggled here of late. Didn't hit well last night. Didn't hit well against Lewis, but I know they can hit. That's the good thing. They can hit. I mean, that's something we've really worked hard on the last few years is our hitting, and our hitting has come a long way. The last 3 seasons.
Yeah, and that's even with the losses of graduated seniors like Taylor Wheeler, who's now down at Walter State and successful there. Emily Stewart was a Player of the Year here in the area. This team has done it without those superstars, but you kind of have some budding superstars, and like you said, just a good team, don't you? I mean, just a unified
and that's
team.
what it takes, and that's what we stress to them when we talk to them before a game, after a game, to practice, is it takes all of us. Everybody has a role. Not everybody can start. Not everybody's going to shine every day, and we can't depend on Laura Thompson to come through or Destiny Goins to come through, Kenzie Martin, for example, who's a very fine player, to come through and get hits. So people who the other athletes are out there, they need to come through, and that's what we've done for the most part. We hit pretty solid up and down the lineup.
Finally, the sun is shining. You have some dry weather. Goodness, it's hot. It's like summer right now.
Yeah, we went from winter to summer this week, which I'm not going to complain about that. Jeez.
You guys have dealt with so much flooding at the field. It was up to 5 or 6 floods you had to deal with so far this spring. Hopefully, those days are in the past, but for a few weeks there was a really trying period, wasn't it?
Yes, I'd say, at least a month. 6 weeks. I think we said 5 floods in 7 weeks, and we actually had a 6th, but that was back in August when the Lawrence County football game. I don't know if y'all remember that, but who cares? Didn't care about that. I didn't play no softball in August, so didn't pay any attention to that one. But
same night the Putnam got flooded too.
Yeah, you're right. And it's just been very trying, and it's just stressful. Here we have such a great ball club, I think, and we can't get on our field. At least everybody else can say, the rain's gone, we'll work on the field, we'll get on and try to practice a little bit. We couldn't even do that. So that put us, everybody got behind.
Sure.
Everybody, because the weather was so bad, but we were a lot more behind because there's nobody around here even come close to dealing with what we had to deal with.
Unfortunately for you guys, you do have 24 games on your belt now somehow.
Yeah, we're starting, Well, it helped to get 7 or 8 down
at the beach,
and then we already had a couple under our belt. But we're starting to get.
And that's
some
the beauty of
games in
softball.
there.
You can pack in a few games in a day if you need to. And
right.
What about the sport is maybe the most exciting play on the field, you think?
Well, it's always nice to see somebody hit one out, and I don't think you see a lot hit them out like last year. We had 28 home runs, so it's exciting.
Wow.
We've only hit a few this year. I think what's happened is the pitching's gotten so much better, and people pay attention to the hitters, and they start trying to hit their spots better, and makes it tougher on our hitters to get a ball. That's that. But I like the double play. I mean, something as simple as it is, you don't see double plays. 2 good teams going at each other, you don't see a lot of double plays, and we've turned like 2 or 3 here in the last week or so, and that's pretty exciting. Or just a diving. Somebody laying out in the outfield. Hunter Reeves, for example, has done that like 3 times in the last, 10 days or so, and you just don't see that, and that's pretty exciting to, because you got an athlete out there just going all out, wanting to win, so, just to extend and lay out, catching the ball.
Who, just looking over the years as a baseball fan, did you have any favorite teams over the years, or a Reds team maybe, or who's your favorite all-time baseball team?
Back when we were all growing up, it was Cincinnati Reds. Here recently, I don't pay a lot of attention to baseball. The strike kind of got me, just like it did a lot of people. Eric Davis, that's why I can remember that era as the last era that I really watched a lot. Was when Eric Davis played. But Buddy, I'm an old man. We're talking 70s. You're talking about the Big Red Machine with Johnny Bench and all that crew, Pete Rose.
You have a favorite
So-
from the team?
Oh gosh, Johnny Bench, Pete Rose. I was a catcher when I played, so can't go wrong with that crew.
No doubt.
Tony Perez, let's keep going. But probably Johnny Bench and Pete Rose were my favorite. They just played hard.
Yeah.
But now it's all about fast pitch softball.
Yeah.
Baseball games. No offense to all the baseball people out here, but it kind of get a little slow, a little boring at times. Fast pitch has gotten so much better over the years, and it's quick paced and it's exciting. I love watching collegiate fast pitch softball.
The popularity has really just skyrocketed.
Skyrocketed. Yeah, it's big time. The last 5 years, it's doubled, tripled. I mean, you get a lot of people come to games and get excited, and I think our region is getting stronger and stronger each year. Somebody else steps up, and it's just not the same 2 or 3 teams. I mean, a lot of teams can beat you if you're not careful.
Yeah, girls' sports in this area is at an all-time high,
It sure
in my
is.
opinion.
It sure is.
Looking at softball, for instance, and basketball too, and then the list goes on.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
Girls' sports in the area.
I agree.
What about does Geoff Stewart have any hobbies? I know that you're a family man. You take your granddaughter to Center Stage Studio in Grayson. I ran into you there
Yes,
because
we
my
did.
daughter's in the same class.
Yeah. I get up there every now and then. Now it's a little hard because of softball, and I'm not there on Mondays. We play games, but yeah, I'll take her there a few times. That's quite an eventful 60 minutes. But I can do anything at any time for my granddaughter. She's number one in my life. She's awesome. But hobbies, sports. Spend time with her family like everybody else does. But other than that, it's sporting events. I help out with our football program. I help out with Coach Anderson and Coach Fraley, do odd jobs for our basketball program. So I just go season to season. And if I wasn't doing anything like keeping a scorebook or all the things I do on the sideline, I'd be there watching. So I guess my hobbies would be following Board County sports, and I do enjoy going during the spring when I'm not playing softball. We don't have a game. I'll go watch East Carter. I'll go over and hang out, watch Ashland. So I like watching other teams play too.
And in the winter, you're keeping the scorebook
Yes.
for
Yes.
Coach Anderson. Now, as far as we talked about family a little bit. Your son's getting married soon. First week in June. It's actually the same week as state tournament, isn't it?
When they came home, well, Jake had come home, and his fiancee Kristen came with him, and they decided, he did a very great job of telling us, and you'd be amazed what he did to propose to her up on top of this big church, and
Okay.
it was big time. But they started saying a couple dates, and there's so much going on in that town. You have to really start really early to get what you need to get there because everything gets booked. So she just said Friday in June. I didn't know if it was going to be. I thought it was going to be East-West weekend, which that wouldn't be too bad. I just won't go. But when she said those numbers, I started thinking in the back of my head, and I said, "Oh, that's great. That's nice. That's a good time. Yeah. What do you do? Maybe that's a good omen. Knowing, we've been very, very competitive over the years, and we just get stuck in that. I've been to a bunch of regional finals, and we just can't seem to, overcome the Ashland game. And we've had a few teams that very well deserved to go, but the better team won that day, so that's part of it. But so maybe this will be a good omen since, you can go state tournament. Your son's getting married, so I'm really proud of him. Like I said, he's getting married that weekend. He's got a full-time job up there at Crossroads Christian Church. He'll be back here Sunday or this weekend to graduate at KCU. So we'll deal with that when time comes.
What town are they going to get married in?
Evansville.
Okay, so
Which
close
is-
to
yeah.
Owensboro.
And that's what I said. I was looking at the time.
Yeah.
We play Thursdays now. So if it worked out and we make it to state tournament, that game, it's Friday. And
Maybe have an assistant step in for
Oh
you
yeah,
for one game.
Friday, if it happens to work out to where we're playing in that time frame of the marriage, I've got 3 capable assistants,
There you go.
and they'll take care of it. And I'm sure my teammates or my team and Pete and everybody else will understand. That's some things
Sure.
are more important.
Sure. All right, let's go to a little either or with Coach Stewart. First, coffee or hot chocolate?
Hot chocolate,
Leonard Skinner or Hank Williams Jr.?
Leonard Skinner.
Now, I asked you earlier about your favorite band, and you couldn't really pick one, but
No, I
you
don't
said
pick
classic rock.
Yeah,
is
classic
the genre.
rock. Yes, I love 97.1 and the 105 and just all those, whether it's a band or anybody else, it's the 70s.
Oh yeah.
That's just when I grew up, and that's a good time frame for music anyway. I think as I compare it with all the musics in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, I can come up with a few. But now, if you want to talk band, we can go way back to the Jackson 5.
Oh, okay. Wow.
No, but I'm more of a classic guy. Meatloaf, love Meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Okay. I think Rocky Stanley would be happy about the Jackson 5 reference. I think he likes that.
They're awesome.
All right, finally, the home run, either or. Beating Ashland on any day or beating Russell with former assistant Dave Wheeler as the coach.
Beating Ashland any day, every day.
Okay, I figured that.
Yeah.
And you and Coach Wheeler still get along
Yes,
pretty
sir.
well?
Yes, sir. We get along just fine.
Friendly rivalry.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're having a good season. 20
Yes, they're
wins.
doing well. They're doing well. Yeah.
Between you guys, Russell, Ashland, like you said, a lot of talent in this region.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an exciting last couple
I
of
think
weeks.
it will. Yes. I mean, Round County thought they're dead.
Then they
And
beat Russell.
They ended up beating Russell. They thumped Fleming County
Mhm.
after getting beat by West Carter. But yes, in the East Carter, you got Montana Fouts out there. She can win a game for you. So yeah, you got to put them in the mix just because of Montana.
Absolutely.
Not to mention
Morgan
that
Jacobs.
other girl, Morgan, is not too shabby either.
Right, right. Well, it's going to be good. We look
It'll be,
forward to
yes.
always covering the tournaments, and District Week is coming up here before you know it. So
Oh yeah,
and it
right
might
around
be-
the corner.
That's right.
What? 2 weeks from Monday.
Yeah, 2 weeks from Monday.
Goes by quick.
All right. Well, we want to
Unfortunately.
wish you the best of luck the rest of the
Thank you.
season.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming on.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
2 for the road. Matt Sparks.
On first?
Yeah, you're first. I threw you a curveball.
Okay. My 2 for the road, I'm going to strike up a cause here that I think is important. I think it needs to be changed. I think we need 3 umpires in district seeding games in baseball, and also maybe important tournaments like the Class A tournament. These games are, I think, just as important as the postseason. It's not season ending, of course, but I think these games are just as important. I think during the game you'll see the field umpire has to do a lot of shifting depending on who's on base. And a lot of times it kind of puts them out of position a lot of times for close plays. We got a lot of good umpires in the region, but I think it would be better if we had 3 umpires.
I agree with you. Probably the one problem it could create is just the fact that there are still a lot of games going on in the regular season.
Of course.
And whereas a region tournament, you're chopped in half pretty much as far as the teams that are competing. So getting an extra person there might cause a little bit of an issue, but in theory, that sounds like a really good idea.
Well, I know you'd be short of manpower, but maybe in the years to come, maybe train some more umpires and get a bigger field to choose from. Might work out.
Manny Pacquiao is involved in a $5 million class action lawsuit for not disclosing his shoulder injury prior to the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight of the century, which Mayweather won. But, here's the thing. The lawsuit was filed by Stefan Vanel and Kami Rabaran. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right.
Wow.
But on behalf of all persons who purchased tickets, purchased the pay-per-view event, or who wagered money on the event, claiming damages for those who were victimized by the defendant's failure to disclose and to cover up the injuries of defendant Pacquiao.
What are the 2 names again?
Stefan Vanel and Kami Rabaran.
Well,
My best stab at it.
this is really ridiculous. Pacquiao didn't force them to pay for the fight or gamble.
They should just be happy the fight finally happened.
Athletes play with injuries all the time. It was your decision to pay $100 for a fight. I think Mayweather was going to win anyway. I think you could see that his strategy was to duck and cover and then collect his check.
Hey, it works for him.
But here's a little tidbit. That fight is going to be on the cable channels in the next week or two,
Yeah.
either HBO or Showtime. Because you know, all I got to do is pay for a subscription to that channel, and then you watch it for free. But
And it's probably all over the internet now. I don't know for sure if it's all over, but it could probably be found somewhere on the internet to watch for free these days. Just wait a couple days and then watch it.
I mean, it's always a gamble to do, you know, to do this. So you know, and
$5 million class action
$5
lawsuit.
million. Wow.
Didn't say your shoulder was hurting. He is going to have surgery, and apparently they're going to have a rematch, according to Mayweather. So we'll see. I really do like the sport of boxing, but it's better when the heavyweights are good. You know, I mean,
So Mayweather said there's going to be a rematch.
Mayweather told Stephen A. Smith that there would be a rematch after the surgery.
I could see that happening because I think Mayweather is tied to one more fight, and then if he faces Pacquiao again, if he wins, he'll be 50-0, and then he can retire and
He's already talking about retirement.
go off and spend his millions.
Yeah,
So
and be broke in a week. All right, thank you to Geoff Stewart from Boyd County for joining us. Again, you know, we want to wish him and his team and the rest of the teams in the area the best of luck over the next couple of weeks as postseason nears. We'll be back next week. From Matt Sparks, I'm Aaron Snyder. Again, HTPT is brought to you by Fannin Automotive Family. Come back next week.